you take a break, little chef. I'm not your puppet, and you're not my puppet-controlling guy.
The rat is the cook.
Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 times the crazy person was right in comedy movies.
Tell me what's happening!
Well, you're having a nervous breakdown. That's what's happening.
You're part of this, aren't you?
For this list, we'll be looking at big screen characters that were thought to be unhinged, only to find out they were right all along. Plot details will be discussed, so this is your official spoiler alert. Who's your favourite crazy character that ended up being not so crazy after all? Let us know in the comments below. Number 10, Sarah Whittle, Jumanji.
In the jungle, you must wait until the dice read 5 or 8. In the jungle, you must wait. What's that mean?
What are you supposed to do when your friend is suddenly trapped inside a living board game? The instructions were rather unclear in this movie, centered around a board game that has very real-life consequences. For Sarah Whittle, that answer was clear: run for her life and try to find help. Unfortunately, no one believes her, and it's even implied that she was put onto medication in response to telling others about the event.
I think I need to have my dosage checked. That event we've been discussing for a long time now, the one that didn't really happen. Oh boy, I'm having an episode here today with the little boy that didn't really disappear.
Eventually, she is convinced that what she experienced didn't happen at all. That is, until almost 30 years later, when her friend Alan is suddenly freed from the game.
Sarah, Alan, I have spent over 2,000 hours in therapy convincing myself that this doesn't exist. See, what happened to you was so awful. I made up that whole
Sarah,
thing
it
about
was
you
awful.
turning into
It
this
was
awful
awful.
person.
It was awful. It really was.
Crazy. But it was real.
It just goes to show that sometimes adults should listen to kids more often before quickly jumping to conclusions, even if what they say sounds ridiculous. Number 9, Marty Mikalski, The Cabin in the Woods. If your friend started telling you about strange things occurring during your camping trip, would you believe them? When it comes to this satirical horror film, that answer is a resounding no. From the beginning, Marty is written off as nothing but a stoner.
Marty, honey, that's not okay.
Statistical fact. Cops will never pull over a man with a huge bong in his car. Why? They fear this man. They know he sees farther than they, and he will bind them with ancient logics.
However, he is the only one able to see beyond the showrunner's ruse. He notices several things to be suspicious about, such as his friends suddenly acting differently and questioning them when they suddenly decide to split up. However, his friends ignore these discoveries, ultimately leading to their demise. The biggest discovery by far is when he finds a camera hidden in a lamp, and this time his suspicions are confirmed when the showrunners send someone to kill him for his discovery.
Oh my God. I want a reality TV show. My parents are gonna think I'm such a burnout.
Number 8, Paul Finch, American Pie 2. Some things never change, and Finch's love for Stifler's mum is definitely one of those things.
All right, enough, Finch.
But I'll tell you, none of these women even compare to
Stifler's mom.
Stifler's mom is a goddess.
Riding high from his success in the first film, Finch sets out to seduce his friend's mother once more. Believing himself to be an expert after reading a book on Tantra, he's determined that he will succeed, even though Stifler fights him at every turn. He is so sure of this happening that he practices Tantra all throughout the movie. Even when it looks bleak, Finch never gives up, although he does wonder if he should move on to someone else.
You know, Kevin, I haven't moved on either. I've been obsessed with the one woman that I can't have a real future with, other than a very kinky, extremely warped one.
Eventually, that patience ends up rewarding him when she comes back for him right before they leave, proving that good things do come to those who wait.
You want to get it on?
You better clear your schedule. See you guys later.
Number 7, Jonah Robert Skinner, Ratatouille. If there's one character we didn't want to be proven right, it's Skinner from Ratatouille.
I can't be constantly checking for a yes or no handshake from a rat.
The rat! I saw it!
rat?
Yes, a rat!
In this Disney classic, Skinner is suspicious when his supposedly incompetent employee, Linguini, reveals himself to be a master chef. This suspicion morphs into obsession when he catches a glimpse of a rat inside Linguini's hat, revealing who was behind the delicious food. This revelation begins to drive Skinner mad as he tries to catch them in the act. Eventually, it becomes all he cares about, but when he attempts to tell others, they only look at him as though he's crazy.
I see the theatricality of it. A rat appears on the boy's first night. I order him to kill it, and now he wants me to see it everywhere. Ooh, it's here.
Even after he's fired, he does everything in his power to reveal the truth.
A rat infestation. It's taken over my Gusto's restaurant.
Gusto's, eh? I can drop by. Let's see. First opening is 3 months.
It must happen now.
Unfortunately for our heroes, he was successful, resulting in the restaurant being shut down. Number 6. Harold Crick, Stranger Than Fiction. Not many of us would know what to do if we suddenly heard a voice in our heads. The same can be said for Harold Crick, a man suddenly plagued by a voice narrating his actions, including one that seemingly seals his fate.
Little did he know that this simple, seemingly innocuous act would result in his imminent death.
What? What? Hey! Hello? What?
He attempts to go to a psychiatrist, but when he tries explaining that the voice is a narration, the psychiatrist doesn't believe him and instead diagnoses him with schizophrenia.
I'm afraid what you're describing is schizophrenia.
No, it's not schizophrenia. It's just a voice in my head.
Harold knows that conclusion is wrong, and so the doctor recommends him to a literature theory professor. The professor ultimately confirms Harold's fears, that he is a character being controlled by an author, and all he can do is live out the rest of his story.
You were right. This narrator might very well kill you, so I humbly suggest that you just forget all this and go live your life.
Oddly enough, it's the first time he truly feels free. Number 5. The Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters. Sometimes it doesn't matter how qualified someone is in their field. Some people will never take them seriously.
Your theories are the worst kind of popular tripe, your methods are sloppy, and your conclusions are highly questionable. You are a poor scientist, Dr. Venkman.
No movie character understands this sentiment quite like Peter Venkman, Ray Stantz, and Egon Spengler. Despite being experts in their fields, the parapsychology professors, and later Winston Zeddemore, constantly fight to be taken seriously by their peers. Walter Peck is one of their most notable dissenters, set on shutting their titular paranormal investigation and elimination service down entirely. The Environmental Protection Agency inspector even went so far as to accuse them of being con men.
For instance, the presence of noxious, possibly hazardous waste chemicals in your basement. Now you either show me what is down there, or I come back with a court order.
From being fired to being arrested, the Ghostbusters are put through the ringer before they can finally prove that they have always been correct. When the mayor finally allows them to help eliminate the ghost, they jump at the opportunity.
Get him out of here.
Bye. I'll fix you, Venkman. I'm gonna fix you.
I'm gonna get you a nice fruit basket. I'm gonna miss him.
All right.
We got work to do.
Their dissenter, now quiet, has no choice but to believe them as he finally sees the ghost for himself. Number 4. Buddy the Elf, aka Buddy Hobbs. Elf. When Buddy the Elf went to New York City to find his father, he never could have expected that no one would believe he was an elf. While trying to spread Christmas cheer, he desperately tries to convince everyone he meets that he is from the North Pole and that he works for Santa.
10 a.m. Santa's coming to town.
Santa! Oh my God! Santa here? I know him.
He doesn't understand much about the real world, but what he does know is that everyone needs a dose of Christmas magic, especially his father. Despite his father's attempts at getting him to act more normal, Buddy refuses and chooses to stay true to himself.
You're more of an elf than anyone I ever met, and the only one who I would want working on my sleigh tonight.
Really?
His kind heart and genuine nature allow him to make friends despite his quirks, and when Santa needs to be saved, They all, Walter Hobbs included, step in to help.
Michael, please, what's the big deal?
Dad?
Santa Claus is coming to town.
Number 3, Emmett Doc Brown, Back to the Future. When it comes to brilliant yet eccentric characters, Doc from Back to the Future is one of the best. While brilliant, he also follows strict rules so that he doesn't cause any damage while time traveling. When he thinks these rules have been broken, he normally overreacts.
I can hang out, you can show me around.
Marty, that is completely out of the question. You must not leave this house. You must not see anybody or talk to anybody. Anything you do could have serious repercussions on future events. Do you understand?
However, Marty knows that the rules have to be broken to save Doc's life. After Doc reads a letter warning him about what will happen to him in the future, he panics. On impulse, Doc rips the letter up, sealing his fate.
That's a risk you're gonna have to take! Your life depends on it!
No! I refuse to accept the responsibility!
When Marty gets back to 1985, he runs to Doc, only to find that he's wearing a bulletproof vest, and still has the letter from 1955. Sometimes it's okay to break the rules, even if they're related to time travel.
About all that talk about screwing up future events, the space-time continuum.
Well, I figured. What the hell?
Number 2, Kate DiBiase and Randall Mindy, Don't Look Up. Upon learning that the world is going to end, it makes sense that there would be a few skeptics. However, in this satirical catastrophe film, astronomy professor and PhD student Randall Mindy and Kate DiBiase respectively have more than a couple detractors. In this case, pretty much the whole world is against them.
And it's roughly 5 to 10 kilometers wide, which
isn't that an extinction level event?
Despite their best attempts to convince everyone that an Earth-ending comet will strike, they are constantly ignored, especially once a billionaire comes up with a plan to destroy and mine it.
This comet hurtling towards us from deep space actually contains at least $32 trillion of these critical materials.
Even when that plan fails, people still refuse to listen to the scientists. That is, until the comet enters orbit. Once people see for themselves that the comet is real, their tune starts to change, as they realize they were wrong the entire time.
The comet remains intact. We just never...
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honourable mentions. Marvin Boggs, Red. He knows the government is tracking him after being in an experiment for years.
When the helicopter passed over the house last year, and I could feel their eyes on me. Wet, like liquid peaches.
Crazy Carl, Sonic the Hedgehog. Carl is the only one who knows of Sonic's existence at the beginning of the film.
Say hello to Crazy Carl. We have fun together.
I know you're out there!
Honey Mustard, Sausage Party. He's the only one who knows the true fate of the food once they leave the grocery store.
Dude, shut up! The gods are gonna hear you talking about them.
Gods! They're monsters! Horrible, ugly, disgusting monsters! They ain't gonna get honey mustard twice.
Brandon, Galaxy Quest. This superfan believes that the show is 100% real.
Wait a minute. Stop for a second. Stop. Wait.
No ship.
It's all real. Oh my God, I knew it. I knew it!
Mr. Willard Tweedy, Chicken Run. The farm owner knows the chickens are hatching a plan to escape.
Oh, yes. Those chickens are up to something.
Quiet. I'm on to something.
They're organized, I know it.
Said quiet.
That ginger one, I reckon she's their leader.
Mr. Tweedy!
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1, Truman Burbank, The Truman Show. Truman Burbank is a man with a normal, almost mundane life. That is, until a cinematography light suddenly falls from the sky, which leads him to begin questioning his life for the first time ever.
I think I'm mixed up in something.
Mixed up in what?
There's no point trying to explain it, but a lot of strange things have been happening.
At first, his suspicions are low enough to ignore. However, when he hears a member of the production crew talking about him through his radio, he realizes that something is amiss.
Okay, he's making his turn onto Lancaster Square. Oh my God! He knew his balance. Something's wrong. Change frequencies.
From that point on, he begins to think people are watching him, despite people he knows telling him differently. It all comes to a head when he confronts the woman he believed to be his wife, and she breaks character, kick-starting Truman's journey into eventually discovering his whole life was actually a show.
What are you gonna do? Dice me? Slice me or peel me? There's so many choices!
No! Do something!
Although this was the answer Truman was looking for, with it came the realization that his life was a lie. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.